Hello everybody, CW here. I got a modification to do for the Ruger Precision Rimfire. I picked these up a while back for a couple of other Ruger Americans, and this Ruger Precision is kind of close. The trigger works similarly. So this is one that's designed for all the precision rifles, and it says it right there. And that's, if you want to scan that, or if you can use that, I'll hold it up here for a little bit and you can get that information. But what this is going to do, this is going to change the spring, the main spring on the trigger, and it's going to allow for a lot better adjustment. Now, I ordered this before I really fiddled with my trigger in my gun, the way it was. And I got that trigger down to just over a pound. Now we're going to do some trigger tests here, and I'll show you where I am, where I'm starting from, and then we'll put this in and we'll see what changes it makes and what we get for trigger pull weights. Probably, almost definitely, I'm going to have to back out my turn in my adjustment screw. The way this factory trigger works is the farther you screw the set screw in, the heavier the trigger gets. It's as if you're making a preload. And I believe it's 6 revolutions from all the way in is the most you can lighten the trigger. And it's supposed to be 2.5, 2.25 pounds. I did mine all the way in until the screw actually came out, and then I screwed it back in and I counted 6 revolutions out. It's just above flush. Now you'll know what I mean by that when I get the gun in here and show you. I'm not going to be able to show you putting it in. I will try and show you what I can, but you know, YouTube's rules, I can't show you me doing it. But it's not that difficult as long as it's the same as the other Ruger American triggers. It's a matter of stripping the gun down to get the trigger accessible, the sides of the trigger accessible. So you leave it hanging off the action, and then you push a couple of pins out and you slide out the trigger itself. It contains the little dingus, little fake trigger, little dingus thing. You don't touch that. And then inside there's a spring laying there in the adjustment screw, and you just reach in with an Allen wrench or something and you take that spring out and you replace it with this spring right here, this little bitty spring. And when this comes in the mail to you, this is about 10 bean sprouts. Comes in the mail with you. It comes with instructions on what you do, what you can adjust, and what it's going to do for you. So it's a pretty good deal for the cost. That included shipping. So yeah, it's only a spring and it's pennies, but 10 bean sprouts, shipped. It costs money to get these things, and that's just the nature of the beast. And I forgot where I was going with that, but that's all right. Let's get the gun over here. We move the camera around, and I will show you where we're starting, and we'll take some trigger weights, and we'll go from there. Also, this is going to be the first video of a few modifications being made to this rifle. We're going to change out this optic. If you remember, this is my 10 to 40 by 50 that I bought for testing accuracy. So it's not made to live on here. This is just a scope that I can throw on a new gun, work up a load, know that I've got a good scope, know that I'm removing as much of me from the accuracy of the gun. Doesn't always work that way, but if you can't see what you're shooting, you can't hit it very well. So more magnification definitely helps. So this scope is coming off, and you'll see what's coming. Also, I have a new magazine release ordered. Anarchy Outdoors. Whale Tail, I believe it's called. And I just got an email that it's shipped, so it's on its way. And if you've watched my other videos, you recognize that this is different. This is a different grip. I was digging through my bag of tricks and I found this grip. This is an Ergo, and it's a pretty nice one. I had cut off the rubber tang because what I used it on couldn't use it. And it does have a nice feel, but what it does, I've got a larger hand, so it gives me a real nice feel. It really fills my hand well. It's got a nice palm swell. I like it a lot, except, see my trigger finger? I've got it wrapped right around because there's nothing there to preload or to adjust or to help me get proper hand position. So if I shift my grip to put my trigger finger where it's supposed to be, like right there, now see my arm? It's off the gun. I can no longer get in position nicely. I can no longer have the ergos that I want to have. So I'm hoping that the next thing that I ordered, I forget the company, gets me that with the grip. It's going to have the same basic shape. It's a vertical grip, but it's going to have a shelf for my thumb, and it's going to have a block blown out here so that when I do put my hand in here, it pushes my finger out. Now, yeah, I can just do that, but I'm not consistent. With a grip that positions you the way you're supposed to be, you can repeat it. And just like everything else that we're learning, and I'm keep preaching to you, consistency in you, in your loads, in your loading, in your position, in everything means accuracy. As soon as you change things, you change things. So that's coming. Now this gun is, of course, empty. You know, we didn't say that to begin with, but of course it's empty. There's no ammo on the bench here. The adjustment for this trigger is right in here. Now let me zoom in. Hold on tight. Right there. What you're looking at inside that hole, that black dot down inside there, is a set screw. And right now it's set to be, it's just above flush, maybe a half a thread, just enough that I can feel it with a wrench or with something. So here's a punch, a pin punch. I'm going in here. Now I'm putting my tip of my punch on the aluminum and I'm dragging it over. Oh, it's not. Okay, good. That's actually good. I am not proud of the metal for the trigger. That set screw is completely threaded in. That's good. That's really good. Now, let me back you out. Let's do a trigger pull. Now, hold on. I do have snap caps. I found going through Sandra's pistol box, and for whatever reason, she had 2 of these in her pistol box. Don't know why. Where she would have got them. But they were in there. So let's put this in the chamber. Everybody knows this is a dummy. It's a piece of plastic. It's not a bullet. This just made it easier to do because I had it here on the bench. Oh, look at that. It doesn't want to snap over. I force it. I don't like forcing it. I don't like forcing it. Why wouldn't that snap over? I mean, it's not like it's in there. But why wouldn't that snap over? Let's look at this a little bit closer here. I don't have to take up time in this video. But let's see what's going on, because it's not like it's a control round feed. Let's see what's going on here. A good bit of oil. Well, I can put it on like that. We'll treat it like it's control round feed. Carefully insert it. There we go. All right, false alarm. Sorry about that. Let's check our high dollar Amazon trigger pull gauge. Not really, it's a piece of junk. But let's see what it does. It says 12.3 ounces. You see it? Let's do a couple. Back on 0. $10.2 ounces. $12.3. So it's pretty consistent. Pretty darn consistent for what it is. Okay. Let's pull everything out of here. I don't think I have to take this grip off. I'm hoping I don't have to do anything with my scope. I'm hoping that it's just these 2 screws. But I haven't taken this chassis off. All I've done is torqued those screws. So I can't show you this. So I'm going to let you go and I'll bring you back. Okay, here's our pieces parts. And I just made a discovery here. 2 things. And I remembered it as soon as I found it, is your safety has to be in safe to pull this off. If it's in fire, it's blocking and locking the trigger assembly down here. Also, this is a little cover that you need to take off. And underneath that cover is a Allen wrench for trigger adjustment. Nice touch. Here's the bedding. It looks okay, but it's very small. Granted, it's only a 22, but there's not much there. And it's got a piece of aluminum here. I found there's quite a bit of oil down inside here, but it's pretty clean. Again, the previous owner did a good job of keeping things clean. So let's get this out of the way. Here's our action, and here's what we're going to do after I wipe off this excessive oil that was all over everything. Okay, this pin right here, got an E-clip on the other side. That should be all we have to take out. The spring is going to be laying in here that we need to take out. So let's hope that it's the same as the Ruger American. Again, I'm sorry I can't show you. I'm going to take it apart. I'll bring you back and show you what I can. Stand by. Okay, this was a bugger. No, not at all like the Ruger American. It's completely different. It looks similar, but it's different. And the spring comes in at an angle, and getting this out is, you need to get in here and compress the spring. I've already got it uncompressed because of the screw here. We're backed out. But you need to compress it and slide this out. And you need to pull this pin out as well, because it stops the trigger from going back too far. It probably has another purpose in there, but you can't tell because everything is enclosed. But you need that extra movement backwards in order to clear everything. And then it stands up and it jumps, and you can see your sear engagement right in here, right in there. And I just stoned it just to make sure there's no burrs on it while I had it out, and slid this back in like halfway, put the spring in, compressed the spring, slid this over like halfway, and then kind of like just manipulated it, and it was a bugger. I was I probably muttered a few nice, very not so nice words. But I got it back in, and I got this screw adjusted in. Sorry, I'm off camera. In about 2 turns. It was 6. I was all the way out, so I turned it in about 2. And let's see if we get about what we had. It'll show me how much more adjustment that I have. But I'm down under a pound. So how much more do you really want to lower it? Probably didn't need to do this at all for what I was getting, but I thought maybe I would have a improved trigger pull over what I had before. So that's why I did it. I'm just checking my bits here. I didn't like how that engaged the screw, and I thought maybe I had something better when I put this back together. But I guess I don't. This is the proper size. And what is this? T20. It goes in nicely, but it's a little tight. But I guess it's good. Okay, so let's put this back in the stock and see what we've done. Okay. Funny if it was exactly the same. Gotta put the safety off, right? So let's zero this back out. Okay, 18.7. Oh, right back where we were, 10.2. That's odd. Maybe it's got to settle in. 12.3. Maybe it's just settling in. Now remember, we're 2 threads in, so we're 4 threads out. 19.4. Yeah, I think it just needs to settle in. I would expect it to be about there, because we've got a couple of turns to adjust to get it down. 15.5. So it's starting to float again. Now I don't know if it's this gauge or this trigger. I'm thinking it probably just needs to settle in the spring position and everything, but we'll try it a few times and see what happens. All right, probably been longer than it needs to be. Let's close this video out and stay tuned for the next modification to my Ruger Precision rimfire. God bless everybody.